Hey everybody, welcome to a Monday morning edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the show where we talk a lot about sports with comedians. And of course, as you guys know, the comedians will give you a take on their take of basically what's going on in the world of sports. Today, though, Talent is not able to make the show and Fig is not able to make the show because they're traveling. You guys know how this goes when you're in the comedy game. But up, we have a comedian known as Mike Sean. Mike, how you doing? Mike's been in and around the comedy game for a long time. Mike, I even hear you got a couple of radio shows going on, and I hear you doing a lot of things, Mike. What's going on?
Yeah, we got the morning show, Michael Sean and the Takeover Legends. You can hit that up in Media Room 360 TV. Download that app. Got the comedy show, Arlington Improv, August 8th. It's a Sunday show. And I'll be back on the East Coast soon also. I'm out here in Dallas right now. Out here, I'm right around the corner from Jerry World, honestly.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right. Next, we also got the Business Bully. He's going to be joining the show shortly. But right now, let's jump into the show. The COVID report is the show I always start out with, is the topic I always start out with, because honestly, Mike, it's always an interesting topic if you ask me, because, you know, we're dealing in the world of COVID. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. As soon as we get off the air, it looks like Business Bully has joined the show. First, let me give him an introduction. There he is, the Business Bully. Thank you for joining the show, brother. How's everything?
Everything is beautiful. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. First of all, I hope both of you guys had a great weekend too. Yeah, I didn't say that, Mike.
Excellent weekend.
All right, now, like I was saying, I always start off doing the show with something called the COVID report. Now, as soon as we get off the air, 2 line items jumped off. I mean, literally within 30 minutes after we got off the air about a COVID report. First thing is Rick Dennison out? He got fired as a Vikings head coach, Vikings assistant coach, because he refused to take the COVID-19 shot. If you're watching this, we talked about this last week about how it was going to affect the NFL, because half the teams were saying that they had no problem, they were going to comply with taking the COVID shot and everything else. And the other half were saying, well, we have issues with that, and there'd be some people who are going to have issues with that. So, Mike, I'm going to throw it with you and say, it looks like the NFL teams themselves individually are going to be taking stands on people who are going to be taking the COVID shot or not, because the Vikings assistant coach got fired, and the Patriots fired offensive line coach, both of which happened on Friday once the NFL put out a report that we're going to take this seriously, where you guys are going to forfeit some games. So they weren't playing with this. Mike, what's your thoughts?
Well, the dictatorship has started, and the NFL is playing no games. And when they start setting small examples right now by getting rid of people they can get rid of, assistant coaches, things of that nature. Listen, the NFL, once again, we talked about this. We talked about the players' union. We talked about how much they have given away. And honestly, if they agree to all the rules that we talked about earlier, and now the NFL is sitting here saying, all right, we're going to fire these assistant coaches, it won't be too long before players won't be fired, but will be cut. And they'll start up with some special teamers, and they'll start letting people know it's about to go down. They're basically telling you, get the vaccination or there will be repercussions. And they're being pretty damn honest and upfront about it.
Okay. Well, the funny thing is that you mentioned that, Mike, is because literally the topic was to the Business Bully. The topic was on Friday. We were talking about DeAndre Hopkins because he made a post and then he ended up taking the post down. You remember? He said, "Yeah, I'm thinking about retiring." Then he took the post down immediately. So, to the Business Bully, what's your thoughts now of things that's transpired since Friday, with coaches getting fired, players walking the tightrope, a couple of even players on the Buffalo Bills was like, maybe I might retire. I mean, throughout the league, we're seeing some repercussions on people who are taking a stance on COVID-19. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, like anything else, you got to remember where you are in the pecking order of situations, okay? Like, I'm not saying that the NFL is a caste system. I'm just saying that, like Michael Sean said, they are picking out the low-hanging fruit. If you are the water boy, if you are on special teams, This is the time to be making stances, okay? This is the time to just go ahead and take your jab like a bitch and go about your life. The other part of that is, now, if you're Tom Brady, I don't know if you saw this footage of Tom Brady throwing the ball into the ball machine.
Yeah.
Accuracy and then moving back 10 yards and doing it again. He knocked the machine down. The machine's still spitting out balls like it didn't know what to do. If you're Tom Brady and you say, I ain't taking the jab, then you're not firing Tom Brady. Let's just keep it a buck out here. I think what's happening is people are scared, and this is a real mob mentality type of situation. And I'm telling you, this thing is going to be historic Not just for black people. Because in case y'all don't know this, because a lot of y'all don't even know who the hell Rick Dennison is. Rick Dennison is a white man.
Yes, he is.
And it was like, oh no, you guys to go. So this is bigger than color. This comes down to this jab and these folks forcing people to get this jab. So I'm not surprised, but yeah, like you got to be damn near Tom Brady level infinity gauntlet having a football player or coach to make a stance at this point. So it sucks to be them. That's why I work for myself.
And Frank, and real quick, NFL owners have real long memories. Yes, they remember how much money they lost last year, and they remember they couldn't say anything to the players that held out. Yeah, because that would be they'd get killed if they went at the players, all the players that sat out, all the players from your team, the Patriots, that actually decided, and they're like, okay, y'all sat out last year, okay, y'all gonna take this vaccination, you're really gonna sit out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Looks like Rodney Perry's joining the show for a hot second too. Rodney, how you doing, brother? I see you traveling, moving. How you doing, bro?
Hey, man, I've been working this weekend. Nate Jackson, Super Funny Comedy Club. Say what's up to Nate Jackson.
Hey!
What's that? What's going on? All right, Rodney, man, we were talking about, if you want to join the conversation real fast, we were just talking about the offensive line coaches, the two coaches who got fired on Friday after we mentioned, obviously we were talking about the NFL taking the stands and the NFL saying that they were going to do some things and forfeit some games. So you want to jump in there and tell us your thoughts about the NFL teams individually taking stands and firing people? Like the business bully said, if you're small on the totem pole, you're gone. If you're big, that's where, obviously things change. What's your thought?
Right, and the story is that the coach said he didn't want to take the vaccine. Am I right?
Yeah, the story is both of those coaches didn't want to take it, and they both got fired immediately.
I mean, was it fired or did were they just
fired?
Fired. Let go pending the vaccine.
Okay, Rodney, fired. Both of them fired.
Oh, that's messed up, man. I mean, I don't know about y'all, man. My sister's been calling me, trying to get me to take this vaccine for the last 3 weeks, okay? And I'm like, I'm going to fucking take it. But at the same time, I'm like, what if I don't want to take it? Like, I should be able to do that. But how about this? It's starting to feel like the Scarlet Letter. Like, if you elect not to take it, then you almost got a badge on your chest that says this guy doesn't want everybody to be healthy. And so it's kind of a double-edged sword. I plan on taking the vaccine, but I'm gonna take it when I get good and damn ready. And, and I don't think nobody should be able to press that.
Yeah, but your situation is different because right now the NFL is concerned about people catching it and teams having to forfeit their checks. Because, like we said on Friday,
but this is the thing, Frank. Nothing guarantees that you won't get it.
No, I understand that. But
the vaccine doesn't guarantee you won't get it.
Right, but if you do catch it, the NFL's concerned, they literally put down a mandate that they will take checks from people on both teams. If that game has to be forfeit, you lose. If you're playing me and my team, you're playing the Bears are playing the Patriots. The Bears and the Patriots both will not get checks. That's what they're saying right now. But the owners are getting paid, but everybody else is not. That's the whole thing. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm drawing the line at. You know what I mean? It kind of forces people. So I don't know.
I mean, it's hard to say you won't take it if your livelihood is being challenged. So it's a tough ask, but then just easing up, take the damn vaccine and shut up.
Right. Okay. Now I'm gonna move on because the next topic just I'm gonna have to tell this right now. The next topic just jumped up as breaking news. I'm gonna start with you, Mike Sean. It looks like people are close to Aaron Rodgers as saying that he is going to report to Packers training camp on Wednesday. That's the new news that just dropped this now on ESPN. They're saying that looks like Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to report. Now, we all know that he's been doing a huge stance and everything else, obviously, with Green Bay Packers. We've been talking about this for months. Mike, are you surprised that Aaron Rodgers is not going to take that, what was it, $50,000 hit a day, and he's going to report to camp? You surprised? What's your thoughts?
I'm not surprised at all. I'm just surprised that the media took this guy so serious when he has no leverage. The Green Bay Packers can, no matter what trade they make, they get the short end of the stick. They might as well stick to their guns and say either what's it like, $30 million he'd blow if he didn't play this year, something like that?
Yeah.
He's not giving up $30 million. It's his last season in Green Bay, guaranteed. That's for sure. This is going to be his last season. Yeah. He's not giving up that money, and he basically just wanted to take a stand out of, I don't even understand what his stand is, Frank, because What team can he go to with a better shot to go to the Super Bowl than the team that he's on?
No, that's absolutely right. I mean, but let's look at this fact too. To the business bully, let's look at this fact too. I'm gonna throw it to you. If he reports to camp, it takes care of this situation with Davante Adams also. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he literally told them over the weekend he was unsure what he was gonna do because he was concerned about saying, you know what, if y'all ain't signing Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers is not coming in, I'm not sure I'm gonna, want to, obviously have my future there with Green Bay, and I'm gonna end up being a free agent at the end of this year also. So to the business bully, tell me your thoughts about Aaron Rodgers reporting to camp.
Again, unless you're Tom Brady, I don't know how else to say. And I need y'all to understand, as an Eagles fan, I do not like Tom Brady. I do not like Tom Brady at all. But he's the GOAT. Aaron Rodgers is more famous for a State Farm commercial at this point. Like, dude, it's your last season. Go in and report to training camp and go about your money, homeboy. Like, you're not like. Listen, you're not giving up $30 million. Right? You're not going to be a movie star. There is no second act for you unless you're going to go into commentary. Other than that, dude, like, sit down, throw your football, and go on about your business because, this is not what Green Bay needs to be in the headlines for. You're causing all of this havoc. Like, do you remember when you used to look at NFL players when you were a kid and be like, those are men.
Right.
You look at people in the NFL and you're like, those are some whiny little bitches for all this money they getting.
I couldn't have said it better than you did, but I will kick back one thing and say Aaron Rodgers might have a career with Jeopardy as a Jeopardy host. You know what I mean?
Not with LeVar Burton. Is LeVar Burton dead?
Oh, well, I don't know what's going on with LeVar Burton. I didn't think he had the job yet. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I know there was some kickback with LeVar. Everybody wants Aaron Rodgers, it seems like. I want LeVar. You know what I mean? That's my thought.
But real quick, Frank, don't you feel like there's a story that's not being reported? Like there's a story. There's something else that happened. It's not just drafting a quarterback. It's not just offensive coordinator getting fired or one of his friends getting fired and him not being told or whatever. There's got to be something else, because if it's just what this is, Aaron Rodgers looks horrible. This looks ridiculous.
Again, there's a lot more to it, but like I said to Fig last week, and I'm gonna throw it down to you, Rodney. If the Green Bay Packers had the option of firing the GM and keeping him, that might have been something that was on the table. What do you think, Rodney Perry? It looks like the GM is staying though, but Rodney, what's your thought?
Hey, you know what I called this? I called this a while back. I thought Aaron Rodgers would stay. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. His feelings are obviously hurt, like the bully said. And he needs to suck it up, get out there. Look, there's no place that's gonna be as good as Green Bay is right now. The receiving core is freaking ridiculous, and Aaron Rodgers is a top-notch quarterback. What is he gonna take his talents to have the equal receiving core that gives you a chance at a Super Bowl? Nowhere. Aaron Rodgers needs to shut the hell up and sit down somewhere.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I'll throw it back to you, Mike. At the end of the day, I'm sure Green Bay behind the scenes was calling teams on the low, seeing what they could get for Aaron Rodgers if they did make a trade and they didn't like anything from any of the other 31 teams, probably maybe 12. And I'm sure New Orleans put them up and said, you know what? We're going to stick with what we got. I'm sure that's the way this thing rolled out. Mike, talk to me. Do you think that that's what Green Bay ended up finding out behind the scenes, is that we can't trade Aaron Rodgers and getting back in return what we thought? So we're going to have to tough this out.
Yeah, it's absolutely impossible. What can you get? You can't get You need a level of Patrick Mahomes to get in return. Or, okay, let's say you give me a star receiver. None of it makes sense. You can't get the value that Aaron Rodgers has. And I will say this real quick. Davante Adams needs to be very careful about latching on to the Aaron Rodgers train, because you're not Aaron Rodgers. He needs to be now he deserves a contract. The man, to me, is the best receiver. One or probably top two receivers. But he needs to be a little careful that he just joined on Aaron Rodgers' squad and they had this little game where they were reposting things from The Last Dance and stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely say. And to the business bully, I'm gonna throw it to you, bro. What are your thoughts right now, sitting there looking at the old landscape? Do you think that Green Bay made some calls behind the scenes and they found out that, hey, we're not gonna get more than a number one pick and a mid-level star for Aaron Rodgers? What's your thought?
As a business owner, my whole thing is I like to mitigate headaches at all costs. I didn't get into ownership to be stressed out. And if I have an employee or a talent that is stressing me out and not giving me what I need, I start to exercise my options. And if I can't find something that's going to allow me to make the money that this headache is causing me, then I'll keep the headache and wait until I can make a certain move. So yeah, by all means, I believe that they were calling around like, yeah, let me see what we can get for this guy. As long as it's equal or greater value than what we currently have, yeah, let's get his ass out of here. Because nobody wants a whiny punk ass on their team. Like this literally was the dumbest play. He's a quarterback who pump faked off the field. Where did they do that at?
Well, I will say about the punk whiny, there's a bunch of punk whinies in all professional sports. Right. So it's not nothing new in every. James Harden, what James Harden did with the Rockets was ridiculous. But I will say this, that GM must really know he made a mistake in drafting that quarterback because they could have got a gang of number one picks. So that's telling me you don't believe in that quarterback that you drafted. And by now, he should be ready to play.
Yeah, most definitely. Rodney Perry, do you think Green Bay made some calls behind the scenes and realized they weren't getting anything along the lines of what they thought they were going to get for Aaron Rodgers?
No. I think it's more of what Mike Sean just said. The quarterback is not ready. The young boy they drafted is not ready. He can't run a team. He can't get him to a Super Bowl. And so because of that, they got to keep Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is right. He's right to whine and cry as much as he can because he can right now. This kid is not ready to take the reins of the Green Bay Packers. And when you're in certain cities in the NFL, like it's Super Bowl of a bust. And so Green Bay is one of those cities. And so they're not gonna. If they were in another city, if it was Cincinnati, this kid would be starting. But it's not. It's Green Bay. And they're not about to acquiesce to Aaron Rodgers, nobody else. You playing whether you like it or not.
Right. I was going to talk more about Devontae Adams, but we all know what Devontae Adams is going to do now since obviously Aaron Rodgers is reporting to camp. I literally had a story saying what's Devontae Adams going to do if Aaron Rodgers gets traded or it's uncertain. But the next thing up, since we're talking about the NFL, man, over the weekend, I literally said on Friday about Deshaun Watson. I told you guys the entire situation on Friday. And there seems to be that the NFL and the Houston Texans at the time, probably the same day as we were talking about it, worked out some kind of agreement where the Texans has now come out this morning, Mike, and have agreed to trade Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is going to report to camp this week. He told the media outlets he's going to report, but he still wants to be traded. So, Mike, what do you think the situation is going to be? Where do you think he's going to land? Since Aaron Rodgers is reportedly going to go back to Green Bay, what do you think is going to happen with Deshaun Watson? You see him playing for maybe the Philadelphia Eagles, or because right now they have the most options for him to obviously to give. The Jets don't anymore. What do you think is going to happen to Deshaun Watson?
Hey, business bully, don't take this personal right now.
All right.
If he thought he had it bad with the Texans, get traded to the Eagles right now.
Right.
If you thought things was tough, this is not the time to join that Eagle team. And I'm not an Eagle fan, but I was happy for them when they won the Super Bowl because I know how passionate those fans are. I don't know. It's so crazy because Deshaun Watson, they've set him up that it's such a bad time for a trade. He can't learn an offense right now. He's gonna waste a year, and if he goes to the Eagles, he's gonna be in another losing situation for another year or two.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna throw this to the business bully and ask you, since you're in Philly. I don't know if you're an Eagles fan. Are you an Eagles fan?
Absolutely, diehard.
All right, so then you would know more than I would know because you follow the team and everything else. Do you agree with what Mike
Bully started the Bulls of Santa Claus? He was the one that started booing Santa Claus.
No, correction. What we did was we took snowballs and we put rocks in them and we threw them at Santa Claus while booing him.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That makes a lot of sense.
Just want to make sure that we get the whole truth out there.
So the question to you is, do you think literally Deshaun Watson will be able to pick up and get acclimated to the offense and everything else? I think he's a talented enough player, but let's be honest. Since you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, they did not resolve their issues that they had with the offensive line. They did not resolve other issues they had on defense before they get. So Deshaun Watson is literally walking into the exact same situation that I forgot the name of the last quarterback who just left. You know what I mean? He's walking into that same situation. What's your thoughts?
Right. All right. So a few things. First of all, the Eagles absolutely have an offensive line situation. It's non-existent. We have an offensive line situation. It's lackluster. We have a coaching situation. Okay. So I think that here's the problem when you come to Philadelphia. First of all, Philadelphia is absolutely hard. Any stand-up comedian that can make it in Philadelphia can make it anywhere. That's why, like, people say, well, where did you get that from? And how did you listen? And Michael Schoen will attest to this. For 50 weeks a year, I had to perform at the Laugh House every single weekend in Philly. And there were people who would come every single weekend. So I already knew, like, my jokes had to be new. They had to be fresh. I had to, you know what I'm saying? I had to keep up and then make sure that I warmed up the crowd for the best of the best of the best. It is the hardest place in the world. So we'll give you like 4 games to be phenomenal. If you're not phenomenal in 4 games, everything is your fault, and that's what it is. But I will tell you this, I would rather be in a situation where I take that ass chewing for about, a year or 2, and then create a situation where I can bring yet another Super Bowl to the city, which is what I think Deshaun Watson could do if given the opportunity. And I don't know, the guy who's more famous for making the movie V.R. Warshawski than he is for being an Eagles owner would get his head out of his ass. Then we can have a conversation about growth and things of that nature. But yeah, no, it's a horrible situation, but it's not impossible. I think the young man is extremely talented, and I want to see what he does. Bring his ass here. We got him.
All right, so Rodney Perry, the question to you is going to be, Deshaun Watson is going to the field. Houston is definitely going to trade him. If he lands to Philadelphia, do you think that would be a good situation enough for him, or do you think it's going to be a lackluster? What do you think the prospect is for him basically walking into the Philadelphia Eagles, if it's the Philadelphia Eagles?
Short answer, Philadelphia is where quarterbacks go to die. How many great quarterbacks we see go to Philadelphia and end up being mediocre? I think Deshaun Watson, judging by the lack of faith that New Orleans has in Jameis Winston, Deshaun Watson may end up in New Orleans.
Great point. But let's be honest too, guys. Let's be honest too. New Orleans has to be able to give stuff away to be able to get Houston. Houston's going to look at the landscape and see who has the most to give. Right now, the most to give is Philly. The second most to give is the New York Jets. The third, you can just go down the list. New Orleans isn't even in the top 10. So if you're Houston, I'm going to throw this to you, Mike. If you're Houston, do you work and tandem
if you're Houston, you're also going to want to get some assets for this guy.
That's what I'm saying.
If assets are in New Orleans.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you're Houston, Mike, where do you want to send it? Do you want to send it somewhere that you're going to get the most, or do you want to be really angry at how the situation
ownership in Houston has proved they want to get something for this guy?
Mike,
the New Orleans, I don't think New Orleans is going to happen, but you're right. They'd have to break up and they'd have to give a lot. I don't know about their draft picks. I think they'd have to give some quality starters. The other thing is maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there because I didn't know we were going to talk about this. Maybe Atlanta would be an option because they both had big contracts with Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan, I think, only has 1 or 2 years left. Maybe they could send him out there and get Matt Ryan. All I know is I never thought there'd be a time in the NFL where NFL quarterbacks could be traded like this. But once Matthew Stafford and the Rams and Detroit made that trade, anything's possible. You can go straight up. Like, I don't know. Maybe the Jets would give their number 1 pick that they just drafted for Deshaun Watson.
I like that Atlanta. That Atlanta idea is a good idea.
Well, I'm telling you right now, listen, first and foremost, we forget that Philly has 2 first-round draft picks to play with, right. Plus, if Wentz actually meets his playing time conditions in Indianapolis, there's a third. Right. So when it comes down to getting what they want, because you already know, like, Houston's going to ask for the moon, and I feel like Philly is the only team that really has the moon to play with right now.
Right.
So I honestly think when it comes down to it, we're first up, and let's not forget about the Broncos and the Dolphins.
Right. Actually, the Dolphins is not a bad thought either, because the Dolphins got a ton of draft picks also, too. I forgot about they got a ton of draft picks. They can literally say, you know what, we'll give you our we'll give you 2022 and 2023 next, second round draft picks. And they got like 18 draft picks in the next 2 or 3 years. Rodney Perry, you still want to stick with that? You like what Mike and the business bully said, or what's your thought?
we talked about whiners and the business bully has successfully whined himself into me kind of, a little bit agreeing with him, just a little teeny bit.
But you guys, let's remember, these owners ain't got to give nothing up. Remember, Deshaun Watson got like 40 chicks saying he sexually did something to him.
Yeah, that's good too.
So, these owners are looking like, we're really doing you a favor by taking this off your hands right now. So that's something that's got to get cleared up also.
Yeah, that's most definitely. Now, let me talk about the next thing that happened over the weekend. Another shocker, another stunner. USA basketball lost their first game to France. So we've been talking about this all week. Last week, Mike, I don't know if you remember the conversation, if you were part of it. But we were talking about, USA may not be taking these other teams on international level as serious as they should be and everything else. Well, they got a wake-up call. They lost their first game since 2004, and the official when it starts to actually count. What's your thoughts on USA basketball and on the foreigners and where we at now?
When I first saw the alert come on my phone, the first thing I'm not playing, y'all. I thought about this show because I mentioned that they were going to lose more games.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I've said this, and I'm going to take the other angle. Kevin Durant scored 10 points against France.
Yeah.
If LeBron James had done that, they wouldn't be no other headline except LeBron James. But I feel bad for Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant in the playoffs for the first time had to enjoy life in LeBron's world. And what I mean by that is for the first time in his life, his coach said, we know what you need you to do? We need you to score. We need you to pass. We need you to rebound. And we need you to defend. Kevin Durant is exhausted. You can just this man does not go in a game and score 10 points. And the thing that's going on with Popovich over there, I don't know. There seems to be some type of thing going on. Kevin Durant's facial expressions on the bench late in that game didn't look like he was happy that he was on the bench late in that game.
Yeah. Okay, to the business bully, I'm going to ask you the same thing what Mike was saying and everything else. Do you think that because the USA basketball has not had enough time to be together as the other teams who are playing on the international level, do you think it's even fair to even hold them up to the same high, ridicule that we would for teams in the past? I mean, what are your thoughts? Because we are coming down hard on them, but they only been together 3 weeks.
Bruh, these are Olympic level athletes. The end. I'm not trying to hear that. You lost to escargot, crepe Suzettes, and Beth? Nah, bro. Nah, not at all. Like, excuse me? Bro, like when I was in high school, right? Like they had like all city choir and all city band. You didn't have to gel with those people. You had to be able to read the sheet music and play your flipping trumpet. Like, right. Why are we making excuses for people who get paid to put a ball in a hole and block other people from putting that ball in their hole? Like at the end of the day,
pause. Jesus.
What? Because I was talking about putting balls in holes again.
Holes, multiple holes
again. I can't wait to put balls in holes again. My bad. My whole point is when I grew up, there was this team, and it had all of my favorite players on one team, and they scored 226 points.
Here we go.
So I'm just saying, like, at some point, where's American pride? Like, we need white people to step up at this point. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm going to need white people to start demanding things from this Olympic team that we're not getting at this point. Like, what happened to go for the gold? Like, there's not even an Olympic meal this year. What's up?
Yo. Americans are so arrogant, yo.
I know.
They're so arrogant.
I was thinking the same.
They have played for 3 weeks. People, Damian Lillard tripped over his own foot. You know why? Because they didn't even want to run a play.
Yeah,
they didn't even have a play to run.
Yeah.
Hold on, Mike Sean.
Go ahead.
Hold on, Mike Sean. Okay.
Rodney, go ahead. Your thoughts.
Speaking of going to the hole, when you're a professional, you got to be ready to perform on a professional level. Like when Mr. Marcus first made the segue to Triple X porn, he didn't get no 3 weeks. He had to do it that day. Okay? So, as a professional, like Mr. Marcus, you have to be prepared to put it in the hole.
Mr. Marcus, just point of order real quick, Frank. I'm sorry. Mr. Marcus was doing phenomenal work until he came up against one young Corinne Steffens, and then he came in 2 minutes. He was not prepared for what was happening. In this case, Mr. Marcus is the U.S. team, and
No, but he was ready. I pushed back on that, Bully. He was ready, and he did what he had to do with no notice.
Well, true transparency, guys. I want to be honest, and my ego, it just hurts for me to say, but when I'm brand new to a hole, it takes me a minute to get comfortable and realize what it's going to take to score points. Right. My bad. Yeah. It takes me some time.
That's why I'm always telling players you have to go in with a 2-minute offense.
Is that right?
The 2-minute offense.
Hey, I gotta go, guys. I can't do this no more.
All right, thanks, Rodney. We appreciate you. But to be honest with you, I'm gonna be honest with you. To the business bully point, most players do go in with a 2-minute offense, bro. That's the problem.
that is the problem. A lot of comedians do too, especially when you're on the road and you don't know nobody.
All right, but Mike, let's be honest, man. Do we hold those guys up to you? Look, 3 weeks. Those guys, the other teams, they played together for months and months and months. Are we coming down too hard on these dudes? Because honestly, 3 weeks. And then let's not forget the 3 players from both teams in the finals just joined that team literally 2 days before they played that game.
I think, well, you know what? These guys are superstars and they get treated like royalty in the NBA. So I don't think it's unfair. I think it's unreasonable. I will say it's unreasonable for so many. We got guys who just landed to play in the Olympics. Right. They just got off a plane, y'all. The team that they lost to France has played with each other the last 2 Olympics, the same squad. But we are so cocky that we believe we can throw anybody out there. We can't do it anymore, y'all. There has to be a team that's going to be together and make a 2-year commitment before the Olympics start. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's what it's going to take, because y'all better be lucky that Giannis didn't play for his home country. Y'all better be lucky that the Greek Freak ain't in Nigeria right now. Y'all better be lucky that the Joker decided he needed a rest from Denver and didn't play with his country. Things is getting hectic out here, y'all. It's not going to be that sweet no more.
Now, to the business bully, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton joined on Wednesday or Thursday. To Mike's point, people need to be lucky but let's be honest too, and another point too, bro. Let's be on another point too. The other teams around the world are getting a lot better. You know, it's not that they're sucking. Look at my man, Luka Doncic. He dropped 48 points for his team on Saturday in his first Olympic game. Mike, the business bully, talk to me.
The other thing of it is, right, I don't know if you guys know this, but we have barbecues and motocross and, Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff to catch up on. I mean, Loki just, dropped all 6 episodes on Disney Plus. There's a lot of other things going on here in the States. These folks are sitting around like Phil Collins, I've been waiting for this moment all of my life. And they got something to prove because they don't have all of the distractions. I feel like the U.S. team has gotten soft. I feel like the U.S. team has gotten lazy. And quite honestly, nobody's excited for the Olympics. Let's just keep it a buck. Nobody's excited. After the whole Sha'Carri Richardson situation happened, we were like, we're good. So for us, it's yeah, but we're still America. It doesn't matter how downtrodden or how oppressed you are. When it comes to real estate, we still America. Right. What it is.
Right. And then the Sha'Carri Richardson situation didn't help either, Mike. When they were putting out black folks should ban the Olympics, black folks weren't watching anyway, but telling them more to ban the Olympics, even that 2 or 3 people who might have watched, now they not watching. You know what I mean? It's a situation. Mike, talk to me. Situation.
But I love it is a situation because it's real lackluster right now. And I'm trying. And I just want to tell the Olympics, can y'all let us know when y'all bring up a new sport? Give me a day. I didn't know there was a 3-on-3 tournament. I didn't know that the women were playing 3-on-3. I'm watching sports I've never seen before. But Americans, I love being American. Look, I love it. I know there's a lot of problems in this country, but we are so arrogant. Once we start losing, we start saying stuff like, we ain't really interested anyway. What? You're not interested. Why are we yelling about this if we're not interested? Take it or leave it. Then Business Bully over here acts like the rest of the world has no activities at all. We're the only country with Netflix. Like, what?
No, but I mean, if you look at it statistically, like Netflix, 80% of their catalog comes from America, with the exception of Japan and Spain. Japan and Spain. Other than that, most of this stuff comes from America. Like, bro, like we create culture. We're over here doing things like, rock and roll, the internet, the stuff that makes the world great. What is France doing? Is France taking their military budget and putting it towards their basketball team? I think so, because France ain't got no military, bro.
Take his passport. Take his passport now. Take his passport. Don't ever leave the country, dog. Don't ever fly. Don't go nowhere.
Oh no, bro! I'm gonna take this off and get my Team Canada gear on when I travel internationally. These are jokes.
Let me talk about the next subject, man, because I don't know if you guys paid attention to this a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about Naomi Osaka, about her having mental illness and having mental situations and everything else. Over the weekend, not only did she play, she won the first gold medal for Japan for any woman basically who played in tennis for the country of Japan. She didn't play for, she has dual citizenship. She didn't play for USA, but she won in Japan, and she spoke to the media, Mike. She talked to the media. She spoke to 3 groups of media. Now, mind you, a couple weeks ago, everybody was like, yeah, so what? But she needs to talk to the media. Like, they were pressing her. Now she did comfortably after she won a gold medal first time for Japan. Your thoughts, Mike?
My thought with her is, I think when we say she didn't want to talk to the media and her mental illness, which I hope she's getting help for, and it looks like she's better than ever. The tennis media, and I don't think a lot of Americans know this because we're not huge tennis fans. The tennis media may be one of the most racist group of individuals you will ever stand in front of that don't have hoods on. Like they go hard. And the reason why Serena and Venus have been able to deal with them is because, well, let's be clear. They are secure in who they are. They will tell them what they want to tell them, and they don't give a damn. This young lady is a young woman, and now she's finding out what it is to be a mega star. And this media is like, they're not going to let up on her. Matter of fact, the unfortunate thing about this is after she gets back and she gets back in the circuit, that media is going to be even more vicious. So I really, really hope that she's taking care of her mental health issues, and I wish her all the luck in the world, because the Lions are coming when she comes back on the tennis circuit.
Yeah, and to his point, to the Business Bully, to his point, to Mike's point, let's be honest too. She really just was a teenager, not even 2-3 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, she's still, her mind is still formulating or getting her thoughts together. She's still not even the mature level she would be as a woman. And she got thrown to the Lions and the Wolves. What's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, not only that, not only did she win a gold medal, not only did she do press, but you guys forgot she went and lit the Olympic torch and had red braids and a white sweatsuit. Let y'all know she was Team Japan. You want to know why? 2 things. Number 1, boundaries. Okay, the Japanese are big on culture and respect.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do business in Osaka. I don't have no problems. You want to know why? They respect Mr. Anderson or Anderson-san. You dig? The second thing is when we talk about the boundary part of this, right? She set up clear boundaries as to what she would and could tolerate. No one talks about that type of pressure, right? I can't go out like, when I was a crumb bum from the ghetto, I could go to like a TGI Fridays and complain that my wings were, not saucy enough, and nobody would give a rat's ass because, oh, look, there's Allen Iverson over there. But now that I got a couple dollars and a couple of things going for me, I can't go on a TGI Fridays and act the ape without expecting something to happen. It's a level, and it's a shift, and it's an adjustment. And so my whole thing is, if these folks go out here, right, and act as if she does not have some mental illness, and like I'm telling you, to do anything on a professional level that involves entertainment, sports, anything in the public eye, you need to have a certain amount of crazy with you. Real rap. I don't know a comedian who isn't depressed. I don't know one, and I know hundreds.
Right.
Well, ever since I got on this medication, I've been really good.
I ain't drunk, but I'm real nice.
Yeah, I'm sober, but my chemicals are way balanced. They
The
are
green bottle
way
has switched to an orange bottle, ladies and gentlemen, and it's so much better. That's what happens when you get help. But we don't respect mental illness. We treat these people like automatons. We treat them like the things at Chuck E. Cheese. And that's the problem. And I'm not mad at her for getting it for Japan, because maybe then America will calm that nonsense down and start treating her with the respect she deserves for the top level athlete she is.
But to both of you guys' point, I'm gonna start with you, Mike, with this one. To both of you guys' point, also, she also brought a huge awareness to mental illness that affects athletes on a professional level. You know what I mean? Like, people weren't even paying attention to Kevin Love. People weren't paying attention to any other athlete who mentioned mental illness. As soon as she does, and Japan didn't even really go into that at all with her. As soon as she does, it's a big, to do. Maybe I'm missing something, but that's what I looked at it. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts, Mike?
I mean, there's a lot of thoughts I have on that. On a serious note, I got to tell you, one of the most depressing things that can happen to you is that when you get everything you thought you always wanted and you're still not happy, it's one of the sickest feelings, because at least when you're broke, you think to yourself, once I make it, I'll be happy. Once I get there. And to have everything and still be in a dark place is real tough. And I'm glad you brought up Kevin Love, because Kevin Love, I really feel bad for this guy, because he's caught it again because he was out of shape. And I saw him snap out in one basketball game. I know you saw it, Frank, when he just basically, he just snapped.
Yeah.
And I still hope that somebody reaches out and they keep an eye on Kevin Love, because, man, just because you rich and famous don't mean you happy. I ain't never been super rich, but I had money. And it's a depressing feeling when you on that balcony in that fancy ass hotel doing a comedy show and you got money in your pocket, but you still dipping it halfway down a vodka bottle because you don't understand. This is all I ever wanted to do, and I got it, and I'm still not happy. It's a crazy feeling, man.
To the business bully, most people don't understand what Mike just said, because most people don't have what they want. You know what I mean? So we look at people like Kevin Love and Naomi Osaka and say, what the hell can you be complaining about? Like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? And I think that's the issue.
Bro, I'm lucky enough that I'm not that big. Whereas though I'm talking, from fame, not from obvious girth. But I'm not that big where I can't go to a restaurant, or I can't, walk through a mall. I don't have people running up to me like that. It'll happen every once in a while, and I'll be happy about it, do a quick selfie and go about my business. But imagine there is no place for you to go. Literally, when you're that kind of global superstar, your life is a real life Walking Dead, because all of these people are coming after you for something that you can't possibly give them without killing yourself in the process. And it's not just about the money, it's about happiness and fulfillment. And then here's the sucky thing, right? My whole thing was, I remember, let me just get to 100K, Well, let me get to 500K, Let me get to 1 million. And then I'm like, damn, I'm doing all this, but damn, Gary Vee just did 500 million. Like, you realize that this whole life game and this whole pursuit of what we are told is happiness comes down to a Super Mario thing. You're doing all this, you're jumping through fireballs, you're stomping on mushrooms, you kill this big ass turtle looking thing, and then you find this chick who looks like your princess, and she says, I'm sorry, Mario, but your princess is in another castle. That is your life as a public figure. And until we wrap our minds around that and start to have some empathy, because most people will never be able to sympathize, you're going to see more cases like this. And I'm happy she said it, because I guarantee you she prevented thousands, if not millions, of suicides.
Yeah, but you know what, Mike? And I'm gonna tell you, everything he just said is absolutely right. And you know what, Mike? Is we overlook people like Michael Jordan who handle this type of situation, and he has an attitude. And we're like, why does dude always got an attitude? But now when you look at it on the flip side, now you have a better understanding of why he's walking around with an attitude. Because just like the business bully said, people are coming at you all the time. And on a Michael Jordan level, he handled it different than she did. But at the same time, we all are not the same people. Tell me I'm wrong, Mike.
No, you're not wrong, but I will say this. We wouldn't even look at Michael Jordan the same if he had come up in the social media era.
That's true, too.
We wouldn't even, them gambling allegations would have been nothing David Stern could have pushed to the side.
Right.
And the stories that would have came out, and I am not trying to bring this up as a gossip thing, the stories that would have came out about his father's death with social media right now, They would have been a whole nother narrative. And I say this when I speak to kids in high schools. I first congratulate them. I say, congratulations, because you guys have made it through something I don't think I could make it through, is the pressure of social media every single day. And you're just overwhelmed by it. So I get what you're saying with Michael Jordan handling it different, but they could protect Michael Jordan back then. They can't protect these athletes now. Everybody's an open book.
Yeah. So do you agree with what he said, Business Bully? Because I think he's absolutely right too. Social media. I think he even said that he wouldn't even know how to handle life with social media the way it is now.
I think because there was no social media, Jordan became this thing. Oprah became this thing. Michael Jackson's still the greatest performer of all time, but I think even Michael would not have been what he became because there was no social media. Imagine a world where everybody's got a TV studio and a camera crew in their pocket.
Right.
Now imagine it's 1992. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Then it would not have taken Juanita Jordan 6 years in a private investigation team. It would have been TMZ.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk about that. Yeah, I didn't even talk about that.
I forgot all about that part. Yeah.
Right? And then people would have been on Charles Barkley's side. Charles Barkley was actually right. He's not a role model.
Right.
But in those days, that was unheard of. So we got to look at it for what it is and say to ourselves, now that we understand, why are we doing this now? Because if we played yesterday's games by today's rules, they would have canceled Michael Jordan for so many things.
Do you honestly think that the gambling thing would have blew out of proportion? And let's be honest too, all those ball players, I was going down to the hotels and all that type of stuff. All those ball players was cheating on their wives. I'll be honest, I'm not trying to put people out there and say who was cheating and everything else. I will tell you who wasn't cheating. It'd make it easier. You can follow the players who were preachers and the players who abstained from sex overall, like the Michael I forgot. Oh my God.
AC Green.
Those kind of players, those guys. But I saw with my own eyes at the time that those guys, I don't know how to handle it. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how to handle it.
And the reason why I brought the Michael Jordan thing is because conspiracies aren't conspiracies anymore. Right. So that whole alleged gambling debt, allegedly, that may have led to his father's death, then which may have led to David Stern telling Michael Jordan, you're going to take a vacation, so figure it out. And they make up this grand scheme of things that his father wanted him to play baseball. That could fly back then. That can't fly now. Mm-mm. Everybody would have been intensely trying to figure this out. And them stories would have been flashing on TMZ, on Instagram, there would have been TikTok videos, and it would have been intense. It would have been very intense.
So, to the Business Bully, any more thoughts you want to throw on that before I jump to the next subject?
Yeah, I think honestly, we don't understand how powerful we are as John Q and Jane Q public now. And I think sometimes for those of us who do understand it, but use it the wrong way, we're not looking at everything that comes with that. And yeah, there are people, cheating on their wives and doing things like that. And that's a horrible, horrible situation. I contend that if there was social media during the time of Michael Jordan, we would not have had what happened to Kwame Brown happen to Kwame Brown.
Oh, great point too, bro. Great point.
That's excellent.
Great point.
That is an excellent point, because Kwame Brown would have had, not only he would have had a vehicle to defend himself.
Yep.
Yes. That's an excellent point, Business.
I wanted to talk about OKC and Texas going to the SEC. I don't have time for that, because this other subject I think is more pertinent right this second, because it happened also over the weekend. Bradley Beal talks. When Bradley Beal, whether he said it to his friends, whether he said it to his agent, I don't know who he said it to. Rumors started to really, since Friday to Monday morning, rumors have been coming out of his camp and coming out of Washington that he's squirming, trying to figure out whether or not he wants to stay or leave. Mike, I think the rumors are now getting ready to get ahead of this. I think Bradley Beal is going to be out of Washington before. I don't know where he's going to land up. But rumors are leading saying that he might land up for the Lakers, because the Lakers is making calls and talking to him on the side and all of this stuff. What's your thoughts about Bradley Beal's situation?
Now, I heard about the Bradley Beal, and he's an interesting case because the kid is in his prime. And he's somebody that he's a two-way player. If the Sixers could ever land him, Washington's done some crazy stuff. You never know. Washington may say, would take a run at Ben Simmons. You never know. It's unlikely. But the other thing, and I don't mean to change the subject, that I heard, and I want to ask you guys if you heard about it, how DeMar DeRozan DeRozan and Kyle Lowry are willing to take pay cuts to play for the Lakers?
Yeah, bro, that was my next subject. So
I'm sorry. I apologize.
We might have to jump to that tomorrow, but yeah, you're absolutely right. But stick to the Bradley Beal situation for a second.
Bradley Beal, whoever gets him is going to change their whole culture, because if you are on the verge and you just need a guy that plays defense and can really score 29 to 30 points a game, you're in. You're in a good place right there.
Mike, so you think it's going to be the Lakers, yes or no?
No.
Okay. All right. To the business bully. The situation with Bradley Beal has come to the front now. What's your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. First of all, he's a sensational athlete. He's got a great attitude, $1 million smile. Like, the dude has franchise written all over him. He's in his prime. I like the dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe like he is the pinnacle of what Allen Iverson's dream was. You know what I'm saying? Go out there with cornrows, do what you do. You know what I'm saying? And just hammer it out, like, be phenomenal. I think the dude is phenomenal, but he's on the wrong team. And I'm telling you right now, I would love to have him on the Sixers. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the dude is top rate, and I think he's going to go down as one of the greatest after his career is over. Watch what I say.
All right, we only got 60 seconds apiece to talk about the DeMar DeRozan situation with the Lakers and everything else. And of course, Kevin, oh my God, Lowry. My situation right now to you guys is, do you think both of those guys are going to land on the Lakers? Because honestly, it'd be scary if Lowry and DeRozan end up going to the Lakers. I think they could definitely make a run at the championship. What's your thoughts, Mike?
Look, the Lakers are making a run. If they had to go with this team, they're going to make a run. They wouldn't win it, but they make a run. You add those two pieces, and you take the ball out of LeBron James' hands simply so he can get some rest. Right. And you could really have a point guard where LeBron sits down, where you like, yo, take your time. It's game 35. Take the whole second quarter off. You're good. Because Kyle Lowry is a baller. The dude just knows how to run an offense. You know his connection with his boy. Then we're forgetting AD. That would be an amazing situation to pop off. Please make it happen, because I got a funny feeling Golden State's going to do something. It's going to be crazy, and it's going to ruin everything.
You know what? To the business bully, the Lakers don't have a lot of room to make. They don't have a lot of money to make. But if they get rid of Kyle Kuzma and Lowry's there, DeRozan's there, and I'm going to throw it to you, bully, with this point too, that nobody's talking about either. If they do that and Kyle Lowry comes, I think they might be able to get somebody from the Clippers. Hint, hint.
I will say this, right?
You know where I'm going with this, right?
No. You think?
Only because of the situation, bro. He's already on the fence medically with the situation. He had issues that he had with San Antonio. He's also has now those same issues with the Clippers. He can opt out right now. His boy is Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry leaves and comes to the Lakers. DeMar DeRozan leaves, comes to the Lakers. Bro, that boat that they would have, it would be scary. What's your thoughts?
Well, my whole thing is, if I know for a fact that I'm going to make millions later, I'll settle for hundreds of thousands now.
Right.
Because I play the long game, and let's keep it real. We know for a fact that 80% of players, when they get out of the league, 4 years out of the league, they're broke. These cats, we're talking about next level superstar. Like, this thing could be the situation where it's just like, okay, everybody on the West Coast might as well just sit down, because the Lakers are going to run shit. Right. Regardless. And for the first time, I think in his career, LeBron will actually be able to sit down and not worry.
You know what?
When have you seen that? Ever?
That's why I threw out there the situation I'm saying, because Kawhi, if Kawhi comes, if Kawhi comes, they're going to go back some of the time. Listen, this is the reason why I'm saying it. LeBron is 37. They know also LeBron's 37. They also know that they have to reel back some of that time. They only got so much time, and then they got to start building for the future. You know what I mean? Kawhi could be the future there. He wants to stay in LA. He might not want to stay in LA for the Clippers. That's the situation.
How do they fit everybody under the salary cap? Like, how would they
do it? You get rid of half the team that's not performing, and the first player out the door, of course, Caldwell Pope is going to be gone. And then Kyle Kuzma is going to be gone. I mean, just look at some of the roster bench guys. Those guys are going to be gone.
So Drummond's going to be gone?
Drummond's gone.
Yeah. God, he's gone. Kyle
Kuzma's gone.
I'm a huge LeBron fan. I really am. In my opinion, we won't get into it. He's the greatest all-around player I've ever seen. That would almost be unfair, y'all. Like I thought Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and all them were, but Kawhi, LeBron,
Bro,
and AD.
I agree. I agree with you too. But I'm looking at the stuff on the wall. I'm not going by what rumors are telling me. I'm looking at what I see on the wall, and what I'm seeing on the wall, the way things are lining up. Especially when I heard Kyle, when I heard about what's going on with Lowry and DeRozan, and the Lakers are trying to make stuff happen. The Lakers always do something that we don't expect. They just do, bro. We always do. But anyway, well, we got to wrap this up. We're gonna finish this conversation tomorrow. I hope you guys can join the conversation tomorrow because we're going to have to finish this part because it is continuing to happen as we all see. It's continuing to develop too. So, Mike, tell everybody out there how they can follow you. Thank you for joining the show. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Number one, thanks for having me. Always have a ball on the show. At Mike Sean Comedy on all social media platforms. And if you go to Instagram, tap the link in my bio. You'll see my one-man show called Relapse Again. That's on YouTube. And you can check out my tickets for my comedy show. Thanks for having me again, y'all.
Thanks, Mike. To the Business Bully, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, please.
Absolutely. It's the Business Bully on all social media platforms. My book, Sell It Like Jesus, is available in stores everywhere. And if you're trying to get your business off the ground and you don't really have a whole lot of knowledge and a whole lot of money, bully101.com. I'm giving you the basic blueprint in order to get to where you need to be for less than $100 a month. So go and get that money.
Bro, thank you also for joining the show. We appreciate you. Tomorrow, Talent and Fig will be back to traveling and handling their business and everything else. Also, thanks to Rodney Perry joining the show. I got to thank you both for joining the show. It's an interesting topics. You know how we do. We get down. We always have a great conversation. It always sucks that it's over in an hour because it goes by so fast. But that's just, it makes you want to come back for some more, right? So there it is. Again, thank you guys for joining the show. The show's called Box Seats on the channel called The Humor Mill. We'll see y'all tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Peace.